So the average person, they would see this and they just would think it's just some overrun grass field.
Right.
But to you, it's absolutely not that. So what exactly are we looking at right behind us?
Right. What we're looking at is the result of managing those animals, how we were talking about before, that we use the pigs to develop silvopastures. Silvopasture, is a shaded pasture, somewhere between 30 to 50% shaded canopy, which here in the South is especially critical in the summer because of heat management. You need shade for your herbivores, for pigs, definitely. And I think the future of a lot of grazing in the South is managed silvopastures. So what we're looking at here is bringing the pigs through that once or twice a year, using them to disturb the soil, overseeding what's called a high value annual behind them. So in the spring, early part of the summer, we'll use forage sorghum, which would be like this, and then pearl millet, which is these guys back here, to overseed the paddocks. The pigs stir it in, the pigs leave, the forage comes up, and now here in the late summer, we have 6 feet of forage, scattered through the area. It's not a perfect stand, but we have all this biomass of high energy forage here for the cattle that when we bring them back through here, they're in the shade, they have a ton of forage, and they'll mow all this down. And then we can bring the pigs back through in the fall and hit it with an overwinter annual. So either a rye or barley or oats or something like that that'll slow grow over the winter, which will then give us an early spring forage for the cattle. So by late March, we're grazing neat barley grass at a time when most guys are still feeding hay. So it's that relationship between those two species that we're just the manager of. We manage the dance between the pigs and the cattle.
Christian, if you want to come up here a little bit, because I would love to talk on, just help me explain what exactly are the cattle eating. And I mean, also too, whenever saying like these are high in protein, because again, for the average person, they just see this and you don't really think much of it.
Right. So yeah, this would be, a forage sorghum plant here. Has a lot of sugar in it that, the cows are really going to love. And you'll see really high rates of gain on smaller acreages that we've achieved in some areas at different times, having 150,000 pounds per acre of cattle for 24, 36 hours, just grazing down sorghum. Stands so thick that the cows just kind of disappear in it, and a day later it's mowed down to the ground. But sometimes they're going to pick all these leaves off for sure and leave the stems, which if we don't bush hog it, will regrow, so we can get a couple grazings on it. If we need to bush hog it, like where the broilers are going to be or something, that's kind of it for the year. But a lot of times you can actually taste cut it down on the stem here. Here, if you try that, see if you can taste anything. Yeah, in that core. You want to try a piece, Christian?
Sure. Yeah.
Just kind of bite the core out of that. And so if you're a mama cow with a 200-300 pound calf with you, you taste that, you're like, hallelujah, I'm in heaven.
Yeah, it's got a little sweet taste to it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So if it's not too woody of a stem, they'll eat the stem. If it starts getting to like the size of your fingers, they're not going to eat it, but they will strip all the leaves off of it and eat the seed heads. The pearl millet, they will always take to the ground. And so we've never had a problem with them foraging that. I like to use the pearl millet because if you look in here, it develops as an understory. That you have the sorghum up above, and then if you look through there, all the pearl millet is kind of at a waist level.
Now I'm curious too, whenever they eat this, I'm just wondering if any of this drops out, does that help replant these type of plants? Or
it's a warm season annual, so I don't think I've ever really seen a regrowth of pearl millet. And like right now, those seeds aren't even mature. So if they came and ate those, whatever fell on the ground is just it's not mature enough to reseed itself. But, again, the grass will regrow a couple times through the year. So here's a really nice seed head. And, if we don't have herbivores available for it, you can always bring the pigs back and they will mow this stuff down. They love it as well.
Yeah, so that's vastly different than this.
Yep. Yep, just different levels of maturity and probably planting depth and fertility and all kinds of stuff. But what's cool is we're able to accomplish a high energy warm season annual grazing with no mechanical intervention. So we're not having to run a drill over it. We're not disking anything. We're just managing the animals and running around with a seed spreader, for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A few days before we move the pigs, and getting these results.